Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts, as always, Steve-O and Larry. And just for this episode alone, Steve-O is actually not on the microphone right now as I do the intro, but there he is. He has just arrived for everyone. Steve-O, how are you doing? You know, we missed you. Your absence was truly missed. How are you?
Cinema.
Wow.
Raring to go.
Wait, sorry. Just for the people who aren't watching, and because it's a podcast, let's give them an oral hello.
Pardon?
Rather, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's give them an oral. Okay.
Very, very vulgar.
It was very vulgar, but yeah. So Steve-O is definitely here, and for those watching, he did a little sign to say that he's there, but I'd prefer that he did actually say it out loud.
I'm all good, Larry. Good. How are you, sir?
Oh, God.
I'm A-OK there with the signs.
With the signs, yes. But Carlos is not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll actually talk about F1 very shortly as well. But good. Anyway, after all of that, we are here once again behind our microphones to discuss some shit that's been going on in the world of Formula One / Arsenal, because any other team we don't care about. Steve-O, anything throughout the week that you'd like to bring to the audience attention? Like anything at all about Arsenal? We're going to start with Arsenal today. And anything at all that's happening. And we'll cut out the intruder in the background. Get out of here, intruder. We don't need you.
Get out of here, you.
And now it's just a floating head. Yeah, whether you like it or not, you're on the podcast now. So there you go.
Yes, sorry, Larry. Sorry for that rude interruption by one of the rats.
Yes, we'll get rid of them. Pesticide, rat trappers, all that stuff. Mouse traps.
Rent-to-kill, here we go.
Rent-to-kill, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Anyways, so yeah, we'll start with Arsenal, because why the fuck not, right? It is, after all, called Real Arsenal Talk. So I know I asked you, has anything interesting been out there? But that was a rhetorical question, because there's a lot of interesting things happening right now. But
I think if you could
and there's a massive but there, isn't there? So please tell the ladies and gents why there's a massive but. MC Hammer.
You just set me up for this really, really nicely. But you know my thoughts on this current situation. And now, if there was one word for you that you would actually describe Arsenal at this moment in time, mine is fucking station.
So are we not limited? We're not limited to one word. We could insert sentence.
I think one word would be good, and then elaborate after that. So,
I think probably the
Patience.
word confused right now.
Confused.
Because I just think, right, there's clearly a short list of players that they want, right? There has to be. They're not just plucking out random names when one fails. They're not like, fuck, that guy's gone to so-and-so. Let's, what's the next name on the hat? No, I'm sure there is a short list of interesting players. And I feel Morgan Rogers was one of those. And I feel like he would have served a big role in the team if he came in, and just because Arsenal valued him at a certain amount, and then Aston Villa obviously doing dodgy deals with Chelsea, they valued him at whatever it was, 100, what was it, 130, 120, I don't know what it fucking was, whatever, right, what X amount. So I think that's probably, again, to no surprise to anyone, by the way, like, it would have pissed on their plans a little bit. It would have wet the page, if you will. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's sort of where we are right now. I think confusion. And then when rumors of Vinny Jr come out, it's like, well, yeah, it's an interesting prospect. We're at an era now where Arsenal are Premier League champions, recent Premier League champions. So we're in a different conversation now when it comes to the players that we're trying to bring in. And I feel like Morgan Rogers, if he made a difference or not, I don't know. Same as Vinny Jr. You know, the two sort of biggish names. You know, obviously Vinny is massive, but Morgan Rogers is big in the Premier League. You know, he's proven in the Premier League. So, you know, that's obviously where the value is. So I think for Arsenal, I think with Rogers going elsewhere, it's like, oh, okay, well, now we need to attack a different, a different position. Maybe they would have started with the midfield, gone to the left wing. You know, like you said last week, where you said, you know, they sort of wait until the end of the window and then they announce. Maybe they could have done a similar thing with the positions. It's like, well, midfield right now maybe was a top priority. And with Morgan Rogers sort of being for sale, maybe that sort of jumped the order instead of a left winger, you know? So I think I think confusion, I say confusion purely because, you know, they've got Solis now. So right now it's like, well, we've got a safety net in Solis in the left wing position. We've got Solis now, we've got Martinelli. So we're kind of covered in that position. Worst case scenario, right? They are covered. Whereas in midfield, Rice is going to take maybe a month to come back. Havertz can't do what Rice does. Zubimendi's probably going to have a little break as well. I know he didn't play, but I think he's back now, maybe. I think I've seen him in the pictures. So, you know, again, sorry, and I will wrap this up real quick. So I say confusion because it's sort of like, because of Rodgers going elsewhere, pissing on the plans. Now it's like, right, okay, well, we need to look at this. We need to look at the left wing. Or Vinny Jr.'s become available. So now let's put all attention to that. Do you know what I mean? And it feels like with Vinny Jr., with his name, it feels like it's only came about this transfer window, right? It wasn't something that was talked about, I don't think, last season or the season before. I don't even think they ever had that name floating around until, you know, maybe someone had a conversation with him at the World Cup. It's like, hey, you know, what's your contract situation, bro? And he's like, well, you know, I'm at the end. It's like, oh, I hear. Okay, let's strike while the iron's hot, sort of thing, you know? Again, speculation. I don't know, obviously, the conversations, but that's why I say confusion. I just feel like Vinny Jr.'s name thrown into the hat is sort of, it's like spanner in the woodwork and a spanner in the fucking spokes, that type of shit. So that's why I say that. But again, that's just the way I look at it. It's an opinion. What did you say, by the way? What was your word?
I said frustration.
Frustration, yeah. But that's all season though, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, to be fair. I think, you know, I don't think we just randomly pluck in players out of the air. I think we probably had like a pool of maybe 5 players, maybe more, but maybe like a 5-player kind of area where we had like maybe 2 or 3 sort of singled out for the wing and maybe 2 for central, sort of an attacker, if you're number 10 kind of thing. I don't know. I think there's probably 5, like you say. I don't think there was like one player where we only wanted Morgan Rogers, or we only wanted Barcola, or we only wanted Vinicius, because I don't think Vinicius came into the equation really. I think it's something that just came up, and whether we believe it or not, and then whether we were in for him, whether we are in for him, I don't know. It's the Brazilian link. Morgan Rogers, I think, is it the price tag that makes him appear better than what he is? Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but he came from Middlesbrough about 3 seasons ago. And yeah, he was okay. And he's had 2 decent seasons with Villa. And yes, he is a good player, but, you know, it's not, he's always been doing it for 6 seasons or 7 seasons. I don't know. But anyway, I think the frustration aspect comes out of it with when you see us being linked with certain players and reluctant to, we're not acting like champions, in my opinion. I see Liverpool potentially going for Barcola. I don't rate Barcola. I don't think he's worth 140 million that they potentially, I think Liverpool have said that they'll pay maybe 85, 90 million, whatever. But with Barcola, I just think the way Liverpool do things is they're going to open, they'll release like a statement on Sky or wherever, and it'll be like they're going to open negotiations. That seems to be like a professional way to do it, not like, oh, Arsenal link this, Arsenal do that, Arsenal do this. Whether that's just us, the social media sites, the things that we're reading, and that if you were a Liverpool supporter or a Man City supporter, they do similar sort of things. I don't know. But the way it's portrayed from Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, the open negotiations, and it's kind of done within a week maximum. Hours drag on, and then someone else comes in and buys them or whatever, or we don't. But and that's my frustration. We're not acting like the champions of England, the finalists of the Champions League. We're acting like, I mean, look at Tottenham. They finished 17th, and they've spent 250 million already. Chelsea finished 10th or 11th, and they're beating us to things like, they're beating to our major signings. And this is, I don't want to get drawn into the frustration, because I am hopeful that we will sign some decent players come the end of the season. So I'm not going to be dragged into this look at transfer rumours every day, which I've done for the last 20 odd years. But just to wrap it up, I think that what I said in a couple of pods ago about we start off slowly in the transfer window, where we buy a couple of players to get them in. But my worry is that pre-season starts next week, and if unless we're buying someone that's already Premiership proven, then I don't mind if we wait till the last day of the transfer window. But if it's someone from like Vinicius or Alvarez, I want them in now. I don't want them in with a day to go.
Yeah, no, look, and it's clear that frustration, is running through you right now, and we've got messages to prove that as well. So, and I understand it, Stevie. I understand it. We haven't had the best track record over the last 10 years when it comes to transfers, apart from, a few exceptions here and there. But yeah, and it's sort of same as when the season started last season. We were like, we were expecting a little bit better, but we weren't as good as we thought we were. Do you know what I mean? Like, you remember last season. It's not like the season before where we just started blowing teams away and then we didn't win. It's like, what the fuck? More conservative football last season. Wasn't the prettiest, but we still managed to win the league, which is fair enough. That's what we care about. But at the end of the day, the football, it suffered a little bit. So when it comes to, these signings, it's a sort of similar feeling. It's like, I've seen this before, where we wait too long and then nothing's done, and then we have to cry about it in January, and then we end up fucking third or whatever.
But we didn't buy anyone in January, so you'd think that
exactly.
We'd have our players set ready that we were going to buy. Yes, I know there's been a World Cup, I know that's interrupted things, but still, we should have been making these inroads to sound them out as such. Budges, you should have been sounded out,
especially a week or so after the World Cup. Is it a week, or how long it's been? Maybe 2 weeks now. However long it's been, you'd think a conversation should have been had, right, with someone apart from fucking Solis. Pick up the phone. Like, I'm not saying go out there and have a fucking meal with them. Pick up the phone and be like, look, we're interested. Sometimes I just think, how hard is it really? Are these guys sort of embarrassed to pick up the phone? It's like, I don't want to make first move. It's like, dude, just fucking make the move. We need the players. Are you mad? And I don't know. It just baffles me, because you just think it'd be, are you interested? Or we are interested in your player. Can we have a conversation? No. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the price tag that he's at. All right. Let's negotiate. We don't even hear about negotiations. Like, even with Rodgers, for example, I know we didn't make a bid, but we didn't hear anything about it until it's like, oh, he's going to Chelsea now. The fuck? So I don't know. It is frustrating. Absolutely it is. But the only reason I didn't use that word is because this is what Arsenal is. This is who they are. Like, they are a frustrating bunch of fucking wankers sometimes, especially when it comes to transfers, because the thing is, everything's been green lit, not just for Vinicius, but what we have to do for next season. I'm sure the Cronkies aren't going to be like, well, we gave you 300 million last season, but this season you have to make do with what you got. No, they're prepared to spend the money because they're made enough and can afford it now. And this is the stage that we've been praying for a very long time. Ever since 2006, this is what we've been fucking wanting. 20 years ago, right? We wanted this, where you bring massive players in, we win the league, we win the Champions League, or at least compete for many years. Fair enough, we made it into the Champions League for however many years Wenger was involved, like 22 years, 24 years, whatever it was. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, the money's there, and he had to, because obviously paid off the stadium, but in terms of football achievements, what did he achieve in that time? So, this is why the frustration comes about, because you're like, right, there's money there, go fucking spend it. And I get it.
It makes me worry.
I get it. Go on.
It makes me worry that we aren't the draw that Arteta kind of portrays, where he says everyone wants to come to Arsenal. I don't believe that's true anymore. I think Man United is probably still a bigger draw than us. I think City probably won't be now because Pep's gone. I think they were under Pep. I think everyone wanted to go to City because I think that'll tailor off. The London aspect of it, obviously, always paying the most wages, and Chelsea seem to do that. But I'm really good at the fact that Tottenham can seem to compete, if you know what I mean, and they can buy these players for 100 million when they finish 17th. They're not in Europe. And
sorry, go on. No, I'll let you finish.
I'm worried about is that we're not this big draw that everyone kind of claims to be. And really, if you were Vinicius, if you were Kvaratskhelia, if you were Doué or Dembele, do you really want to play under Arteta's style of football? Because if I was that type of player, I'd be having second thoughts, because he doesn't let the players play with freedom. So can you see where I'm coming from with, like the back of the mind, they might be thinking, it's okay, we've got Odegaard, flair play, we've got Saka, blah, blah, blah. But they've been held back. If that's evident for the last 3 or 4 years. It's like Arteta coming out and saying, we're going to play more expansive football now because we've got this Premiership title and this, that, and the other. But if you were going to go there, you're 26, 27 years old in your prime. I don't know. I think maybe that's in the back of some players' minds now. I don't think with the draw with the manager that it's we're cracked up to be.
I don't look when it comes to Chelsea and Tottenham, right? Tottenham, they're desperate. That's why they're spending that sort of money for players that are definitely not worth anywhere close to that. I'm sorry, but Tonali is not worth the 90 million that they paid for him. He hasn't done jack shit at his time at Newcastle to be worth that price. 60 million, even that is a push for Tonali. Let's just face it. But that's the way I look at it anyway. I don't think he's that impressive. Who else have they brought in? I can't remember who the fuck they brought in. But anyway, they are at a stage where they need to survive. So they are happy to spend that money just as long as it kind of means on paper, or this player will get us over the line. It means nothing, right? Look at all the players that they bought. Look at all the money that they've spent. And who have they brought in and what have they done? Right? They got rid of the best fucking player, of the best striker in the world, or one of the best strikers in the world for the last almost 10 years, for the last decade. They got rid of him. Or he went because he realized that these guys have no ambition. Not the players. The fucking board. They have no ambition. They don't care. Now, all of a sudden, they're spending money. It's like, okay, yeah, that's great, but you're spending money, but, you need to actually bring in players that can work in a system. They haven't had a system in a while. So that's why I don't really consider Tottenham as, like, a bigger draw. Like, that's not even... I'm sorry I even said that out loud, you know what I mean? Because Tottenham are not a bigger draw than us. Let's just... wipe that out of your mind, Stevie, okay? I know you're frustrated, but let's not say some stuff that you're going to regret later. You're going to be like, I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean it. No, come on, stop it. Chelsea, on the other hand, dude, Chelsea, all right, great. They've got the money, but how much have they spent in the last three seasons?
Just going back to Tottenham, right? I agree with you. Right? They're not a bigger draw.
Of course they're not a bigger draw.
Who's won the biggest European trophy, though, recently?
Chelsea. In 2020.
No. Tottenham.
No, they didn't.
No, out of us and Tottenham.
Okay, but we won the Premier League, and no one cares about the Europa League.
They've won the European Cup, the second biggest to the Champions League. Look, I'm playing devil's advocate. I know what you're saying, and yeah, Chelsea. The Spuds. They're playing catch up. They finished 17th last season, right? But they're acting like a big club. We're not.
Let them act, mate. Let them act. Yeah, no. Okay, look, of course, and I know we said this last episode and an episode before, right? We understand that until September arrives, we don't know what the fuck is going to happen, right? So we can sit here and speculate until we're fucking blue in the face, until we're into a virtual fight, into a virtual argument. We don't know, right? So, but I have to have faith. I have to believe in Arteta, his willingness to succeed, or his desire to succeed. I have to believe that he will step up and bring in the players that are necessary, man. I have to believe that. So that's why I can't share that feeling with you, even though I understand it. I can't share it because, you're comparing Tottenham and you're using a Europa League as a thing. It's like, all right, but 2 seasons finishing 17th or 16th or whatever it was outside the top fucking 10. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And I laugh as well because they've got players like Tonali. Tonali's moving to London. They were the only team who made a fucking bid for him. They didn't outbid us, by the way. Let's just be clear about that. They didn't outbid us. We just had a desire. We had a desire about Tonali. We wanted to explore it, but nothing ever came of it. So that's why I don't consider it as a bigger draw. Same as Morgan Rogers. He got drawn to Chelsea because they were the only ones who came forward with the fucking money. If we were the only team and Aston Villa was like, all right, we're going to sell you at any cost. If we came in with 60 million and Chelsea came in for that sort of price, he would have came to us. That goes without saying. I don't even dispute that. No one can dispute that. So that's why I don't think we're at panic stations just yet. But as I said in the group, we are fast approaching that. Like, we are fast approaching that panic station right now because next week is August. So, that's going to be fun. Wait, is it next week? Shit, this weekend is August. So yeah, Stevie, like I said, I understand what you're saying, man, but, maybe don't give yourself a heart attack this early on. Or with so much to go in the transfer window, So yeah, yeah, Morgan Rogers, oh my God, yeah, fucking hell, that guy just, go take your money, man. Go get your money. Go fucking finish last again or close to 10th or whatever the fuck it was, wherever Chelsea finished. And we're going to be laughing. So, but yeah, go on.
Realistically, though, I mean, like I said to you in a couple of the messages, where does it leave us with regards to who's available? I mean, I did mention Musiala. I think Dembele has kind of been mentioned a few times. Kvaratskhelia, he ain't coming. Nico Williams. You've got Rafael Leao. Where do we sit with all these players now? If Vinny doesn't come, because as a Premiership champion, as a Champions League finalist, you'd think that we'd have, if someone like Vinny was leaving, where else would he go? Would he, if he would definitely decide he was leaving, would he come to Arsenal? Are we the bigger draw that we claim, or would he go to City or Chelsea because they pay the money? That would hurt, that. That would really hurt.
I mean, if a player's moving for money, then there's not much we can do. Or we only have limited resources because, again, we're trying to be a sustainable fucking club and not.
We've said it before. The shirt sales alone from Vinny.
Absolutely, no. I don't think the money's the issue, mate. I don't think the money's the issue. I think it's just a fact that, the player hasn't decided what he wants to do yet. Or maybe he's waiting out on Madrid to be like, right, we're going to give you your image rights as has been reported. So if that happens, if they give him the image rights that he wants and the wages and whatnot, then, shit. It's Real Madrid at the end of the day. We're never going to be a bigger draw than Real Madrid. No team on planet Earth is a bigger draw than Real Madrid. So, we're just hoping that they maybe are thinking into the future and they're like, right, we want Haaland. Right. Initially, realistically, we want Mbappe to play on the left. We want Haaland centre and whoever fucking Wangstein on the right. Whoever they're going to get. Probably going for Yamal or something. But, that could always be in their plans. And if that's in their plans, they have to make the money to actually be able to afford Haaland. And he's not going to come cheap. If you thought Neymar was expensive, Haaland is going to be close to that sort of price, man, like 180, 190 or something. And, if he's got good 4 or 5 years left in him doing what he's doing, then... but anyway, sorry. So, yeah, that's the only thing that's in the way of us buying Vinny. It's not the money. We're not being cheap. I think it's just a case of the player wanting or not wanting to come. And like I said, if he doesn't, because he gets what he wants, then yeah, you can't fault him. Move on to the next one. But this is where I'm getting scared. It's like, all right, you looked at Vinny, but then who else are you looking at? Who's going to be that sort of caliber? And again,
there's no one, is there?
No, but this very finite number, isn't it? Like, we're talking.
We've said to me the pod, if it's Vinny or Cava is the only one that's going to elevate us. Everyone else is kind of just what we've got, similar to what we've got, like Milky Martinelli.
Yeah, I think a good way of sort of gauging the type of player Arteta is going to bring in, you look at Solis and you look at him in comparison to Trossard, and that's the type of player that he wants. You know, he wants that sort of smaller, versatile player, almost like a Santi Cazorla style, but with less technique. Because Santi was
he wants
brilliant.
someone that we can rotate that isn't going to spit the dummy out that comes off every other game at 60 minutes or not misses a game. And
exactly, and
we don't want that. I want a starter.
Absolutely.
I want someone that's going to play week in, week out.
Absolutely, I agree. And I think, and this is where another issue would come in, though, Stevie, because you bring Vinny in, he's a guaranteed starter. Whether Arteta thinks he's going to control him or not, he's a guaranteed starter, and that's the end of that conversation. And unless he's injured, he's going to treat him like Saka, where he's not really going to take him off. And again, is that something that Vinny will accept? And when we say bad attitude, this is what we're talking about. And I've heard. And sorry, since we're on Vinny, right? I want to bring this up because I've just reminded myself. I was listening to. Go on.
You disliked him as well, didn't you? I think on the pods we've talked about how much you disliked him, and he is one of the most disliked players in the world football, and he would only be coming to the most disliked club in the world. So it would be a great match.
It makes total sense. Absolutely,
it does, doesn't it?
But my thing is about Vinny. It was, I've been listening to a lot of my favorite podcasts, and it's a bit like I cringe a little bit because they always bring it back to race with Vinny. Say, oh well, if you think he's got bad attitude, it's because he's been racially abused. That's fucking not what we're talking about. Right, at least that's not what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about his attitude, he provokes players, and again, same with Bellingham. This is the Real Madrid rubbing off on them. Maybe they aren't lovely guys. Maybe they are the most charitable guys in the world. Maybe Vinny fucking loves his mum and his kids or whatever. I don't fucking know what he does. My point is, we don't know that, but from what we see, it may be just a Madrid thing. Maybe you have to go through this course, this Madrista fucking course when you join the team to be like, right, this is how you behave when you're a Real Madrid player. But you put them in any other team, maybe they're the best fucking behaved players ever. But anyway, my point is that it was never, for me, it's never been about the fucking race with any player. It's always been his attitude is because he provokes. Yes, he gets racially abused. We're not condoning that. Absolutely not. That's crazy. Shouldn't exist, and so on. But when you provoke the crowd, right? And at the end of the day, we don't know what's actually been said between the player and the fan, right? Same as we don't know what's been said between two players. Same as Bellingham slapping that Barco guy in the back of the head. We don't know what was actually said. We only see the reaction of Bellingham, and that's the only thing that we comment on until we find out the truth. So for me, that's why I never really rated Vinny that much. And in all honesty, he's been part of a Real Madrid team, and maybe a couple of seasons where he was outstanding. I don't think he's all that. He's a great player for sure, and I think he will definitely change our team. But I would never put him close to Neymar, to be honest. I never mind Messi and Ronaldo. I would never even put him close to fucking Neymar. So that's the thing, and but it's a play. He's a player that has the name, as we've said. He would most likely make an impact because you can never guarantee that shit. You could come in and get injured literally a week, in a week's time. Because,
speaking of injury, Krupi's just got injured, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've just read that as well on SSN, on Steve Sports Network.
That one, isn't it?
I looked up. I like that one. That was really nice. But yeah, so Krupi's been, he's injured for 3 to 4 months, and it's a bit of a shame, really, because he was most likely going to get a good move somewhere, but he's going to stay at Bournemouth, most likely. So yeah, that's the thing with Vinny, and I did, obviously, as Buck said in the messages, there isn't anything to worry about when it comes to image rights. So that's something that's almost guaranteed. Well, it is guaranteed for him if he decides to come this way. But let's see. Let's hope Madrid have got a bigger plan and a bit more devious plan where they're gonna try and sign Haaland in January or fucking August next season, or maybe end of this season. End of this transfer window. I don't know. They sell Vinny. They're going for Haaland. That'd be a bombshell as well, wouldn't it? So, yeah. But there's no real other targets out there that we've been linked with in general, really, has there? Like, is there anyone else, Stevie, that you could talk about? I know we discussed Alvarez last pod, but again, for me, it's kind of underwhelming. In all fairness,
well,
I don't know how to make
quiet.
Yeah, that's gone quiet. Yeah,
that's gone quiet, which makes me think that it's potentially going to happen. I think sometimes when there's a lot of noise, it doesn't happen. Wow. Obviously, like we've said, you mentioned that Zolis is our. We've got him and Martinelli there now, and it's not imperative that we go out and break the bank for a cover, which maybe that's why we all want that. But
sorry, Stevie. Sorry, let me interrupt. Right? Maybe that's why we're looking at Vinny, because it's like, okay, we're just looking for a superstar rather than specifically a left winger. We're just looking for a superstar, and he seems to be the one that's sort of closer to being available. No one else is. Like we said, Haaland and Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, they're not going to be available. But Vinny, because of these contract talks, maybe that's all Arsenal are after. Maybe they're just like, well, we need a superstar. It doesn't fucking matter what position he plays in, and maybe that links back to what I said earlier about confusion. It's like maybe they got confused or sort of mesmerized by the thought of, signing Vinicius Jr, where they're sort of like, oh fuck, we need to snap out of it. We need to actually, go and buy someone.
We need to go and buy someone like fucking Jordan Henderson.
Sorry, please, sorry.
Yeah, I think what I was going to say is that we managed to sign Zolis, which was obviously imperative with us losing. It was Trossard 31.
Yes.
31, yeah. So we've lost Trossard. I think Zolis is like 23, 24, so he's at the right age. But I think we both know that Guimaraes or someone like that, whether is it the French guy, is it Condé or Monde or someone, I can't remember his name.
Oh, the defender?
The midfielder. No, the midfielder. I can't remember what he's called now.
Oh, yeah.
Condé, is it? Condé? Sunday, Londe, something
It's
like
the
that.
one that book was, that Cornet, wasn't it? Cornet, I think Cornet?
Cornet, that's it. Yeah, he's
Cornet,
decent. He's decent, and he would probably come half the price of Guimaraes and a lot younger. So, I'm more worried about having a replacement for Rice, and I think the club, by the looks of it, I think they think that as well. And like, you're right when you said about Vinicius, he's a superstar that if he comes along, he doesn't come along, comes in once in a generation, you've got to be there or thereabouts for him. And we're in a good position. We've just won the Premiership, we're Champions League finalists kind of thing. So, yeah, I think you're right there. I think we probably realistically we're never going to probably buy him. We still might, who knows? But I think realistically we need to be focusing on the Declan Rice kind of situation. Yes, I know he's going to come back, but I still think we need definitely cover for him, for Zubimendi, because Zubimendi, as much as he had a great start of the season, he did sort of fade after sort of the January transfer window, I felt, and you probably did as well. Rice, we all know, how important he is, and he does need a break. So I think that the Guimaraes and that sort of player is imperative that we do get that one sorted, and potentially a cover for Saliba. But yeah, I mean, in one word, are we going to get Vinny?
No, I don't think so. As much as I know, it sounds a bit negative, doesn't it? But unfortunately, I'm trying to be a bit realistic as well, and not pin my hopes up on getting Vinicius Jr. Again, if it was someone like Haaland, who I do actually like as a player and as a personality and as a character, then yeah, I would be more obsessed with it. But it's Vinicius Jr. for me. He's a guy coming from Real Madrid. Like I said, I don't put him anywhere close to a Neymar level. You know what I mean? It's maybe I would rate him and Hazard in the same sort of rating right now.
Who?
Vinny
and Hazard.
And Hazard. Like Hazard at Chelsea. I mean, obviously not Hazard at Real Madrid because he was terrible there. But Hazard at his peak. He wasn't all that. He literally had 2 good seasons and that was it. And that's all people remembered. But for the rest of it, he was terrible. He was either injured or just didn't show up. Vinny, yeah, fair enough. His injury record is very good actually. But, when you think about it, when you actually look back at his stats and stuff like that, since Mbappe has arrived, he hasn't been that good really. He's been more frustrated.
It's a superstar, isn't it? It's a bigger superstar. Yeah. It's all about ego, isn't it, with them? A big ego comes in. The other ego, unless it was Ronaldo, he kind of stood the test of time, didn't he? And he was the big I am from start to finish. But it always seems to be when someone with a bigger name comes in, the bigger person seems to lose his way a bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I mean, just quickly getting back to Hazard, I think Joe Cole mentioned that he was if he hadn't had his injury thing, he would have been probably one of the greatest the Premiership's ever seen. And I thought Hazard was absolutely top draw. Like, if he'd have stayed in the Premiership and stayed fully fit, I think he would have probably been top 3 for the best players of all time. In the Prem.
Can I just quickly say something, right? When people say when people say if he was this and
yes,
if
I know,
he was that,
it's always ifs.
Again, I'm trying to talk in like, what happened, right? And reality is that no, he was not that good, right? And I don't care. People will come at me. I don't give a shit, right? I'll even clip this up and make sure that people come at me because I genuinely did not rate Hazard as much as everyone else did. Like, I can't bring myself to say it. 1 season, 2 good seasons is like, nah, that's not real. Like, again, I don't want to compare players to Ronaldo and Messi, right? Forget that. That's not who I'm comparing them to. But even someone like a Zidane, for example, who was, he's one of the greats for me. He was very consistent. He had very good seasons. More than 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I feel. That's what makes a player for me. Same as Saka. Like, okay, he may have had 1 very good season 2 seasons ago. He didn't win shit. I don't count that. The season that we won, he wasn't that good. Overall, he wasn't that good. Do you know what I mean? So
Here's a question for you.
Sorry,
just seeing as you've mentioned.
I'm just going to finish. So I would never, for example, with Saka, I would never put him in like a top 10 Premier League wingers, like ever. I don't think I would. As of right now, I mean, of course, as of right now.
Yeah, you're right. Just a quick one for you, seeing as you mentioned our star boy. Would you swap him for Vinny?
No. I don't know. I mean,
I would have 110% swap him.
That's a good question, by the way. Did you think of that all by yourself?
Just then.
All by yourself?
Just then.
Wow. That's a good question, by the way.
What I was thinking about was all the players that have gone from the Spanish League to the Premiership and vice versa, and how many players actually make it, vice versa, if you know what I mean. And I'm trying. I think maybe we should do a pod on it, or just even a little segment on that kind of question. But would Saka thrive in Spain, and would Vinicius thrive in the Prem? It's like Saka's Premiership proven. Would he go to Spain and be? Because you're talking about Hazard, who's fantastic, but he goes to Madrid and he's shit. Same with a couple of players you can think of, Arsenal players in the past. Fabregas was probably an exception. Goes to Bar, so he's still great. Henry, not as good, but obviously he was still mixed great, in with the greats as such. And then you think of McManaman, he did all right. Beckham did okay, but I don't know. I just think, would Saka be great? Okay? And would you swap? I'd swap him. I would 110% swap Saka for Vinny, because
okay.
Yeah, I just think that it would be a good move for both. For me personally, if we get Vinny.
I have no doubt that Saka would do amazing in Spain, by the way. I have no doubt about that. Maybe that is his peak.
Straight swap?
Limit. Oh, yeah, it'd have to be a straight swap. Yeah. You can't give fucking money on top of Saka for Vinicius Jr. No, that's crazy. No.
Similar sort of age as well, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Well, Saka's younger, I think, isn't he? Saka's younger. Maybe by a year or two.
A year or two, yeah.
Yeah, but forget that. I'm just saying, like, that's the only way. If I was to be talked around to it, that's the only way, or the only stipulation. It would have to be a straight swap, not even bonuses and give us that when this happens. No. The end. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, look, I hope, obviously, we sign a Vinicius Jr. And I mean a Vinicius Jr. It doesn't have to be the Vinicius Jr. Just someone who's at that level or that caliber, like you said. No, it's very finite number, very, very small number, actually, very minute number.
There's only maybe 3 players like him in the world.
In the world, yeah, absolutely, I agree. And for me, the one that I've always said, and I will always say, is Kvaratskhelia. And I wanted that much. I want him at Arsenal that much in my heart, right? That I can see it be a massive bombshell, where PSG is like, we can get Vinicius Jr. Now, come on, tell me that's a script that's ready to be written, right?
I've thought of it.
You've heard it here first. Okay, people have heard it here first. On the podcast, you've heard it from us first. So there you go. I can see it happen, mate. And I would genuinely love that, because that is like the perfect opportunity to
the problem you've got, though, with that one is, well, if Barcola goes to Liverpool, which I think he probably will by looking at the reports, they wouldn't have anyone to sort of sub each other. Do you know what I mean? So it would be Cava and Vinny.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd sell them, but I think they could. If they sold Barcola to Liverpool, they can afford one of the richest clubs ever, aren't they? They're richer than probably City and Newcastle probably. But
combined, yeah.
So I don't think money would be an issue for Vinny. They'd probably say, look, we're paying £1 million a week. It's one of those, they're that daft, aren't they?
Yeah, they are stupid like that, and they would actually pay that sort of money. Didn't they pay Messi that sort of money? I'm sure they did. Or was it close to that, like 800k? Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've won the Champions League now twice in a row. I always think like football, like Formula One, is cyclical, and you get, teams like Real Madrid winning it 3 times in a row. Then you get PSG, who potentially could win it 3 times in a row. I don't think they will, but if they sign someone like Vinicius, I think it's potential that they could. I think it would be. That could be a little project for him. He hasn't. I think he's won 2 Champions Leagues with Madrid, hasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's been 2 Champions Leagues.
He's won 2 with them. So, is he going to look at Arsenal? Yeah, there's a couple of Brazilians, but there's a couple of Brazilians at PSG as well.
Yeah,
who knows?
He's got his captain at PSG.
Like you say, I'm probably 5% thinking that we could sign Vinny, but that's about as much as I'll go. You're probably 1%, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm the 1% club, I'm afraid. I've always wanted to be in the 1% club, but this time for the wrong reasons, apparently. Fuck. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's not even just being pessimistic about it. It's just, I can't see it. Like, I said about Cava, like, I can feel that in my heart of hearts. Like, we could potentially go in for him. With Vinny, I feel like he is Madrid right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, you don't really say... Anyway, for me, I don't say... When people say Madrid, I don't think of Mbappe, first of all. I think of Vinicius. You know what I mean? When Ronaldo left, it was Vinicius for me. So, he comes with that suitcase as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Where he's like, he is Madrid, and he was at the best team in the world. And, I mean, let's face it.
He's another one for you.
He'd downgrade a little bit, wouldn't he?
He's another one for you.
Go on.
Like, Madrid need Galacticos, don't they? They're renowned for Galacticos, aren't they? Everyone, looks upon them as the Galacticos. Barcelona, not so much now, but would you swap Rice for Vinny if we could get Bruno?
No. Sorry, let me say that again. That's a hard no. And I didn't say that about Saka, by the way. So, you can't
so
be like...
You'd swap Saka, but you wouldn't swap Rice.
Well, technically, if you go back in the recordings, I didn't say I would swap Saka.
Yes, you did.
But it seems like I'm leaning towards that way. Yes, I made a good argument for it. So why the fuck not? All right. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, no, I think with Rice, no, that's a different conversation. I wouldn't do that with Rice. Same as I wouldn't do that with Saliba either. Like, those two are just the complete untouchables at Arsenal.
I know you mentioned that. I think you're right with Dec, but I think with Saliba, now, I would swap him because I think he's got a mistake in him, and sometimes I know most of the time he's like a Rolls Royce. He's pretty good, but I do think there's defenders out there that would potentially plug the gap if we had someone like Vinicius, because we wouldn't be defending as much. But that's just my personal opinion. I think Saliba's great. Do I think he's the best in the world at the moment? No, by far.
Mad.
No.
You're mad. Do
you think he is?
I think you're crazy. That's what I think you are.
Okay.
Who's a better single defender than Saliba right now?
I don't know, but I don't watch every particular defenders, and the context is difficult because we've won the Premiership. But it's not.
No,
Stevie. The defense.
Stevie, again, you need to understand. For me, Saliba's been the best defender in the world for the past 3 seasons. Like,
really?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think after the 20, so when he was injured in 2022 season, where we just fell off a cliff, when he came back, and the difference that made was total. And of course, by the way, I'm not saying this as if I've watched every single defender from every single league in the world. Of course not. But what I'm saying is, you usually hear about certain players like Kvaratskhelia, for example. You don't watch Liga, right? Let's face it, you don't watch Liga, but you watch Champions League. But then, even then, you only watch most likely you only watch Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you've heard of Kvaratskhelia, and you've done your research afterwards. Like, oh yeah, he's a good player. So you know what I mean? So you've never really heard a defender's name come out like that apart from a Saliba. Do you know? Like, I haven't heard any other names out there to be in competition with Saliba right now.
Would you rather? Yeah, I know. I kind of agree, because we focus on Arsenal a lot, and we've won the Premiership. But I think it's a collective that we won the Premiership, but not just. It wasn't just Saliba. I think it was a combination
of course not.
Rice and Raya, personally. But I've just seen
and Gabriel, by the way. Don't forget Gabriel. He had some impact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I just think that I've seen quite a few mistakes in Saliba that puts doubt in my mind. And if, as a defender, like a Ferdinand, like a Yap Stam, I don't think there was many mistakes. I always used to think, fuck.
He's still young, mate. He's still young.
No, and he's not quick either. It's like Barcola. That guy totally had him, didn't he?
Barcola is next level speedster. That guy's got the trait inserted into his legs, man. Like, he is the Flash. No one's catching up to Barcola, mate. No one's catching up to Barcola.
But he's not quick. I've watched him sometimes in the Premiership, and I think, he's been caught out a few times, and he doesn't look like he's got the. He's a bit like the Yock, his gait, the way he runs. It's like, it's not fluid, is it?
I don't know.
I know you won't have any dissonance against it, but I want to disagree with you on
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you're the one who brought it up. I'm disagreeing with you technically, but
yeah, but no, because I see how the need for speed. The need is more on the left wing, and if we got Vinicius, he's a game changer. He's dynamite. He's a world.
I agree.
It changes our complexion from being nearly Champions League winners to almost certain Premiership winners and Champions League winners. With Saliba, yes, I understand you take him out, but you the best defense is the best offense, kind of thing, in my opinion, not the other way around.
What's the famous saying from Fergie? Attack wins you games, defense wins you titles, my friend. That's how that goes.
Yes, of course.
I understand, but no, I don't think Saliba, like I said, Saliba, Rice, absolutely untouchable for me. I would not even entertain that, because I think those are two intricate positions, especially the Rice one. What he does.
It's the spine. I get that. It's the spine.
And of course, and by the way, I'm not saying that. If Saliba did well when Mosquera jumped in a couple of times and they played together, right? So that sort of Gabriel reliance, that's sort of going away now. And I feel like he's old enough now to sort of, command a back line. But I think just the way that he handles himself on the pitch, yeah, of course he's got mistakes. But, sometimes when I don't even know how many minutes Saliba played last season, but he was definitely up there. So do you know what I mean? So sometimes, and especially if he's struggling with his back, maybe he hasn't been 100% in every single game. So yeah, but still, the last 3 seasons, I feel like he has been the best centre back or sole centre back, not partnership, because obviously partnership, Tim and Gabriel, but yeah, sole defender. I think he's been the best, if not second best.
He might go to Real Madrid,
It could do. That could be part of the swap that you're talking about. That could Real Madrid, they needed a centre back. They've always expressed their love for Saliba. Maybe that could be their bargaining chip. All right, cool. You want Vinny, one of our best. We want one of your best. I don't know if it's worth it. I just got to say it. I'm going to say it.
If it happened, though, you'd have to accept it.
Oh, no. If it happens, of course, I'll accept it and I'll move on with my life, of course. But if they were to ask me, right, Larry, what do you think, and your decision is final here, I'd say no, I don't do it. But shit, that's why I don't get paid by the club. So
it could potentially come up, couldn't it? Because he's a fan of Real Madrid. They've been chasing for God knows how many seasons, and it's the crunch time now. Do you want Vinny? We want Saliba, or if it was Rice, I'd be flatly no. But if it was Saliba, I think it'd be a toss of the coin for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Anything else from Arsenal, by the way? Any other interesting shiznits out there?
Timber's come home early from Girona, apparently. I think it's just precautionary, though, isn't it?
Right. Fantastic. That's what I want to hear, man. I want to hear more injury news before the season starts. Please tell me some more, Stevie. Tell me a story, Stevie.
Some more injury news.
Tell me a story.
Jesus is still training.
He is. I've seen him with his bands. The waistbands, him and I think it was Havertz attached to each other. I don't know if you saw that video.
And Nelson as well, wasn't it? I believe, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it looked quite a good game. It looked quite good fun.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be even better on the pitch when they start.
Yeah, I think there's certain players that are probably going to leave. Nelson, Vieira, hopefully. Jesus, probably. Are they waiting for them to get signed up? But it's all gone quiet, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's the players that we're trying to, hopefully we're not waiting for 50 million to come in from 3 sales before we make a move, because that's just wrong.
No.
Wrong on all fronts, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the question that really needs answering. What are we going to do once crunch time arrives? And I feel like that's sort of the last 2 weeks of the transfer window. A week. If we go up until the last week, then that's when all my hopes would drop. And I know obviously there's still time for last minute deals and all that stuff, but I feel like that's running it too close. And at the end of the day, you need to bring in players with plenty of time to actually go out there on the tours and pre-seasons and get used to the teammates and so on, acclimated and acclimatized and whatever the fuck, and baptized and whatever they're going to do to these players, man. I don't know what Arteta does. But right, cool. We've gone on close to an hour, Stevie.
Yes,
I was going to talk.
Move it on.
I was going to talk a little bit about F1, but I think that's going to take us down a different route. I mean, it was a good race, Hungaroring. What do you think? Do you like it?
Well, as you know, I'm getting a bit frustrated again. That word, with the way they're treating Lewis.
Yeah,
and the more and more you actually look into it, and it's kind of put me off it, because I know why they're probably doing it. They're probably trying to make it a bit more entertaining, because obviously McLaren have now come to the fore a bit. Antonelli was, he qualified 5th, I believe, was it something like 5th or 7th? I can't remember. And Lewis potentially could have been on the front row challenging for actual the victory, but he was demoted 3 places for impeding Piastri.
Yeah, qualifying, wasn't it?
Probably was his own fault, to be fair.
Yeah.
Whether he saw him, I don't know. It looked pretty naff from a 7-time world champion. I thought, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of the way, dick.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was his own fault for that aspect. But the penalties that he keeps getting is a bit unjust, really, considering other drivers are doing similar sort of things and not actually getting penalised whatsoever. So it's frustrating me, because I know that there's some kind of agenda now, and I know you've probably thought that there wasn't at first, but I sensed it straight away. They don't want him to become 8-time world champion, and it's clearly evident now. And especially from the few seasons ago when Max won it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
horrible.
The good thing at that point was that Mercedes weren't really competing, especially with the ground force era. They didn't really compete that much. But I can sort of see. I mean, he got demoted, obviously, from qualifying to fucking, what was it, to 5th?
Yeah.
Or something. What was it? 3 places
Second
to 5th.
to 5th, yeah.
2nd to 5th, and then obviously he got the penalty for the speed in the pit lane.
But he didn't actually do anything wrong. If you saw the telemetry and everything, he actually pressed the button and things like that. And it was nothing to do with his fault, was it? Apparently, I think it was something to do with the images that they put up to show that he'd missed the line or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was something to do with the sort of pictures lining up and to see, what he actually did at that split second. But you're right. I don't think there was enough there to give him that, by the way. And I think, what was it? Over a kilometre or something? Was it how much was he speeding? Less than a kilometer?
No, it was the speed. It was speed in the pit lane as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's what he got. That's what he got it for, didn't it? Like during the race, sorry, when he came in for this last pit stop.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how fast he was going in the pit lane, but I'm pretty sure that it was it wasn't that fast. I think it was like a kilometer more.
Or 0.1 of a kilometer.
Yeah, or something.
It
was something daft, wasn't it? Yeah, something daft like that. So that was a bit shitty, to be fair. And yeah, you can see something boiling up against Lewis there, and I don't like it. I don't want to see it, and especially now that he races for Ferrari, obviously it's something that I really fucking hate. But Leclerc, he replaced Lewis on the grid, and that guy just falls under pressure, man. He just falls under pressure. Under pressure, yeah, that's Leclerc right there. That's where he is. That's where he lives, and. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Leclerc, and it's pointless getting excited about him because every season you get excited about Leclerc. He does some dumb shit like this where you think, come on, man.
He hasn't got the eye of the tiger.
He does not. He doesn't have the X factor. He is the weakest link at Ferrari.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, fuck off, more like, you know what I mean? You've been there long enough, mate. Jesus fucking Christ. Give the seat up, for God's sake. He's been there nearly 9 years. And he's done nothing to actually warrant those 9 years, by the way. You know. I think they've missed out.
It would be nice to see an up and coming, like someone like Lindblad or Hulkenberg or someone daft, just someone random.
Not Hulkenberg. He's not up and coming. Hulkenberg's been there for time, man.
Yeah, he has, and you know what I mean. So just someone that's kind of like up and coming, like a Lindblad or even what's he called, the English guy?
Ollie Behrman.
Behrman, that's the one.
Yeah.
Give them a ride, make him the number 2 driver, like they do with Hajar.
To Lewis.
Verstappen.
Second driver to Lewis or to Leclerc?
Yeah. To Lewis.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. We're talking about getting rid of Leclerc, aren't we? Yeah, okay.
Ship Leclerc out, man.
Yeah, ship him out. Yeah. Take him back to fucking Alfa Romeo, even though they don't exist.
Yeah,
good.
Or Audi.
Fuck's sake, man.
But no, you know what I'm saying? And it gives Lewis a bit more confidence in the team are going to be behind him solely as opposed to kind of, still licking Leclerc's ass for doing fuck all. Literally, man. And when you look at the stats, you think he's only got 9 career wins in Formula One. You think, in
are
9
you
years.
fucking mad? Like, average it out. That is literally 1 win a season. That is terrible. That is back market. Do you know what? That Lance Stroll got 1 fucking win, a couple of seasons ago. For God's sake, man. Oh, that is terrible when you think about it like that. That is awful reading. But there you go. That's what Ferrari are doing, and I think it is time to ship Leclerc out. And coming up next season, I really hope that's something that they are considering because
definitely
it's just nothing there. There's nothing proven. Like, how many times do you need to change the rules and try and prove from Leclerc? You can't. He's not good enough.
No.
He's maybe good, like you said, for an Audi or fucking, I don't know, like being second fiddle to Max or some shit. Yeah, whatever.
Him enjoying fucking science back at Williams.
Yeah, that's where he belongs, really. But I think it's time for Leclerc to move on, in all fairness. And you can only blame strategy and the team and blah, blah, blah for only so long. And then you kind of have to start looking at the driver. So, real quick before we do leave, though, McLaren's. Piastri.
Did they have some upgrades? They
did. Yes, they did have some upgrades.
I'm glad. I'm. Do you know, as much as I don't really like what you say, I don't mind
Lando.
No,
you don't hate Lando like I do. Yeah, I don't hate him, by the way. Just so we're clear. What the fuck is going on?
It's the
fuzz.
Hot fuzz.
The hot fuzz.
Yes, they're coming for you, boy.
No, I think it's an ambulance, but I don't know if it's going or it's just parked up.
It's driving. Someone near you. No, I think as much as I don't like, I felt sorry for Piastri.
Did you?
For the end. I like Oscar.
No, I like Oscar as well, but I just okay. Go on. So you were talking about Lando. Tell me about Lando.
I'm kind of understand why you're kind of disliking him a bit, but I'm glad that someone else is at the front other than Antonelli. I think it makes it a bit more interesting.
I agree.
I'm glad. Well, when I looked at Lewis for the first, he was chasing Max down for God knows how long, and he had the soft tyres on. I thought, are you going to go for it or what?
Yeah.
For like 10 or 15 laps, I thought, if that was the other way around, Max would have just said, right, I'm coming through, which he did when he beat him in the pits and the swap places. And that's the difference, isn't it? Max couldn't give a fuck. And Lewis is a gentleman, like we've always said.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably just as good racers, but Max is just that. He's got that arrogant side to him where he thinks, I'm going to put my car in there. And that's and I'd probably be the same. It's like you can see that gap and you just outbrake someone and then they'll have to brake. It's not rocket science, really. You know, it's all like, you first. No, you first. No, you first. Fuck
just
that.
get on with it, Get on with it.
Just, you know, Max doesn't fuck about. Lewis has to have the perfect passing place to do it, and you can see he's kind of a bit fearful for Max. I don't know why, but you know, it's the other way around. Max just couldn't give a fuck,
and
which I like. I like it because it's an aggressive type of racing, and
it's a different driver, and it's two different style of driving coming to a head, and it makes for interesting racing. But yeah, like you said, with Max, he just doesn't care, mate. He wants to win. That's it, or he wants to be in the best position that he can be. But yeah, that move on Lewis was fucking excellent. But sorry, going back to McLaren's and Lando. I mean, he was whining a little bit behind Oscar for the majority of the race. Oh, I'm faster, I'm doing this. It's like, well, you can't undercut him because he's got the preferential fucking strategy. But then when Oscar came in for that preferential strategy, it just didn't work out too well. And obviously he had that situation with Alonso and Sainz. I don't know if you saw it. You probably did. Now, what do you think of that, by the way?
Is it whose fault?
Yeah, I mean, who do you solely blame for that, or do you blame more than one person?
When I first looked at it, I thought it was. I didn't think it was Oscar's fault when I first looked at it.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest, I haven't looked at it again, so that's my only opinion. And now I'm gathering from your silence that you are going to explain.
Yes, sir. Pay attention, class. No, well, look, you watch it back, and everyone obviously on social medias and stuff, that's what they're talking about. They're like, oh, fucking hell, back markers need to move out. But then when actually it's explained, and I watched Jolyon Palmer do his breakdowns today, and the way that it was explained, it's like no one was really at fault. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, if anything, right. So what happened was the blue flashing lights, they weren't working.
3, haven't you?
Yeah, so they weren't working on. So yeah, they work basically on the car that needs to move immediately out the way. So Oscar was behind Behrman at one point. Blue light came on. Behrman obviously let him go, but by the time he reached Sainz and Alonso, he was too far away, as in like he was too far away before that turn. He was too far away for them to make any sort of movements away, because they were literally racing each other. So they're not going to be like, oh, let's just pause the race a second and let Oscar go through. No, it's like fucking time to catch up and then we'll let him through like normal, you know? So unfortunately, at that turn, Carlos went a bit wide and then Oscar went sort of tight in the line. But as you've seen in a Formula One car, the mirrors, they only look directly behind. They don't look, you know, to the sort of left or right. You know, there's no real peripheral vision. It's like it's either there or it isn't there. So that's before the crash happened, Sainz was coming in from the outside, and then Piastri was sort of got the tighter line, and they just met. I don't think there was anyone at fault. Carlos didn't see him. If anything, if Oscar didn't want to compromise his race, if anything, he had the best view of that to avoid it. I'm not going to say that was Oscar's fault. I'm not saying that. But if anything, he had the view because he was behind Carlos. It's like, okay, that guy can't see me because guess what? He's driving the same fucking Formula One car. Do you know what I mean? They're all the same. The mirrors are exactly the same. That guy can't see me, so I'm just going to quickly back off, let him cut in front of me, and then I'll just take him on the next, like, turn 3 and 4. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it was a racing incident. Everyone made a big deal out of it, going, oh, fucking back markers need to do that. It's like, yeah, but if the blue flags aren't working, for example, on the steering wheel, or what's it called, a mechanic or an engineer, hasn't told you over the radio, how the fuck are you supposed to know? And when you're that far out and you can't actually see the car that's coming in tight, when you look around you can't see it. That's it. That's all the time you have. People think like
they don't see it like how we see it on TV.
Like on a junction. Like, you know, when you pull to a junction, you've got all the time in the world, left and right. They don't have that time. Their time is done. That's it. Did you see anything? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things. But that's just my feeling on it. Again, people are disagreeing, but I think the not the hate, but the sort of the disagreement came before anything was really fully explained. But yeah, and in terms of Formula One, it's break now. It's break time.
Is it 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah. So end of August.
Is it Monza or is it?
Oh, what is the next one? Actually, that is a good point. Let me look. Schedule. Oh, it's the Netherlands Grand Prix. Zandvoort.
Do you know the Austrian one? As much as I was kind of looking forward to it, there wasn't many overtaking opportunities, was there? That's the only thing with Austria.
Yeah,
it's a bit like poor for entertainment.
It's
wasn't
not
many overtaking places, was there?
No, it's not the best. I mean, the first and second corners, they're quite tight right-handers, so sometimes you could do something there. You know what I mean? Which Max has done many times against Lando and whatnot. But yeah, you're right. I think the thing is with Austria, it gets exciting when it rains, and most of the time we do get rain there. But
yes. We haven't had rain for a while anywhere.
Exactly. So, global warming. Ooh, conspiracies. Anyway.
Yes.
Right. Cool. Okay. Should we leave it there for tonight, my friend?
Yes. Yes, please.
And when we come back next week or in a few days, whenever it is, we will discuss our top moments of Arsenal's last season, of course. And
good shout.
And a few more things. We'll do a few more things in that sort of vein about Arsenal. We'll think of something for between now and next week. Cool. Absolutely. And we've got no more Formula One, so we can't talk about that. So, shit, it's been a minute. It's been an hour and 11 minutes, right? Yeah, so much for the half an hour to 45.
Oh, God, I know.
So, anyway, we are going to go.
Aim for 15. Aim for 15. Yeah, next time.
What, an hour and 15? Yes, we'll aim for that next time, yes. Because that's perfect, spot on. Right, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Hit like, subscribe, all that kind of nice stuff. And stay safe, stay alert. Stevie, send us out, please.
Au revoir. Au revoir. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, you bastard.
You bastard.